Hello everyone. My name is Alokik Srivastav. I am an assistant professor at Institute of Law, Nirma University. At the outside, I just want to wish that you are happy and you are completely safe at your place. I'll be dealing with quantitative techniques throughout this whole course of videos that will be made under the aegis of CLAT Funda. Now, the first session that you had was on English. You discussed a lot on the syllabus of English. Now, this session specifically is on the syllabus of quantitative techniques, that is mathematics. So, various mathematical operations and what all becomes important from you is something that we will be understanding throughout this course of the video. First of all, before starting all of that, I'll just give you some quick tips for your preparation that becomes the golden point of your preparation. The first of which is that you need to stay focused on your goal. Now, I understand that we are going through some unusual times. You are exposed to a lot of media and there is a lot of negative news all around the world. And it becomes really hard to prepare for competitive examinations at such a point and at such a juncture. I would like to just ask you to take a deep breath and focus on your goal. Small steps will give you big success. It does not matter how much time do you study for an hour, but what constructive study do you put in and how many constructive hours do you put in for this preparation, what matters the most. I would ask you to eat right, live right, and think right, because a lot of that has to do with your preparation. And at the end, I need you all to stay happy wherever you are and stay extremely safe, because yes, we are going through some unusual times, but this could also provide you an opportunity to start studying for CLAT, which you could not have gotten time when you were giving your boards or at an earlier phase. So this is a very good time for you all to start preparing for CLAT and also focus on quantitative techniques. Now, I know it for a fact that QT is a subject that many law students are not interested in. It becomes very tough for some of the students who are of law to understand maths and to apply it. So I think that this is a golden opportunity wherein just by giving 12 to 14 days, a good hefty 12 to 14 days studying for 5 to 6 hours, I think QT is something that you will be able to excel. Throughout this course of video, we'll be trying to understand as to what the syllabus is, what the old syllabus was, what the new syllabus is, what are the changes that have been incorporated in the syllabus of CLAT, and whether those changes basically makes you happy or makes you sad, whether that changes are something that CLAT aspirants would want to. So moving on to the next slide, I'll just start by discussing the old syllabus first. Now, the old syllabus had various concepts in it. Some of them are averages, problems on boards and streams, problems on clock, problems on integers and fractions, percentage and ratio, time and work, profit and loss, speed, time and distance, mensuration, that is 2D and 3D both, mixture and aggregations, profit and loss, pipes and cisterns, linear equations, permutation and combination, and along with that, simple and compound interest. Now, these are various mathematical concepts that comes to you while you start studying from, I think, class 4th, class 5th, from there to right from there to class 10th. So everything was somehow included in the old syllabus of CLAT. Now that became a little tough for the students to understand and to practice, because earlier I think the CLAT syllabus for maths was for 20 marks. For 20 marks, working on these many concepts, most of the law students thought that this is not something that the time is worth of, and they instead dedicated their time towards other sections of the CLAT examinations. For example, English, GK, legal reasoning, logical reasoning, they focused the time on that and they completely avoided QT. But the good news for you is that the new syllabus is somehow only a fraction of this. It is very small in comparison to it is very concise in comparison to the old syllabus that we had. We'll move on to the new syllabus now. So the CLAT Consortium in their website, they said that the new syllabus would consist of short set of facts or propositions, graphs or other textual, pictorial or diagrammatical representations of numerical information, followed by a series of questions. Now in these series of questions, you are supposed to derive, infer and manipulate numerical information, and you are supposed to apply various 10th standard mathematical procedures and operations on such information. Now the whole focus has somehow been shifted. It is quite similar to the section of English that you have. So you will be given a paragraph. In English, you are given a paragraph on the basis of which 4 to 5 questions are asked. That is known as English comprehension. And you are supposed to answer those questions. Even in maths or in QT, this time they have proposed that they'll be giving us in a set of proposition of facts, or some graph, or some diagrammatical representation, or some pictorial representation, and on the basis of that you are supposed to derive, or you are supposed to infer something by applying mathematical formula. So your inductive reasoning and your deductive reasoning is being tested even in QT. So it was true when it came to English logical reasoning, but even in QT they've incorporated this, and this forms a fraction of the old syllabus that was present before. Earlier you were supposed to know all the mathematical concepts irregardless of the fact whether they had some inductive or deductive reasoning in relation to it. So you can blindly apply a formula and come to a result. But in this syllabus, they do not ask you to do that. So what becomes now important for you, and what is the contrast between both the syllabus, is something that we'll be looking at in the next slide. So the first question that crops up in the mind of any of the student is whether this new syllabus is good or bad for you. Now the good news is that new syllabus has considerably less chapters to focus upon. So for example, there are some concepts that you need to understand and remember. These concepts relate to ratios, proportion, percentages, integers, profit and loss, averages, basic algebra. Basic algebra includes addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, application of BODMAS rule, and statistical estimation. So this becomes the concept. Now what becomes important for you is that a question would be given. For example, a pictorial representation would be given to you, and on the basis of that 4 to 5 questions would be asked from you. These 4 to 5 questions that will be asked from you would relate to any one of these concepts. So they might relate to ratio, they might relate to proportion, percentages, integers, profit and loss, and averages. So what becomes important for you is from the given set of facts and circumstances, whether you are able to infer or deduct to a reasonable conclusion on the basis of application of a mathematical formula. We'll try to understand as to what the CLAT consortium meant by giving a paragraph or a pictorial representation or diagrammatical representation. All right. So the overview of new syllabus would be that data caselets, bar graphs, analysis of tabular data, line graphs, pie charts, or a combination of any of those becomes now important for you. Now we'll move on to study as to what they are specifically one by one, but this basically dwells upon the fact that the new syllabus is comparatively very less in relation to the old syllabus. So only questions in relation to these will be asked. So for example, in relation to a bar graph would be given to you, and 4 to 5 questions would be asked, wherein you will be asked to apply various mathematical calculations in relation to ratio, percentages, and then you are supposed to come out to an answer. We'll start by analyzing each one of those. First is data caselets. So a caselet is a set of information that is given in a paragraph form. It is very much similar to that of English comprehension. Now in a caselet, no tables or graphs are given. You are supposed to read the information and draw a table or organize the given data to solve the question. Now in CLAT, they do not ask you to draw a table or to draw even a graph, but this is for your own convenience, this is for your own ease. So for example, if that paragraph is given, you can reduce it down into a tabular form so that you can answer the questions. But the primary importance somehow remains on the fact that you're supposed to answer the questions. All right, so we'll take in an example of what a data caselet is. This example is given here in PPT itself. A total of 1650 students are studying in an engineering college in different departments. The ratio of male students to female students in the college is 86:79. The college had a total of 5 departments, which are mechanical, civil, electrical, biotechnology, and computer science. Total 198 males study in the mechanical department. 18% students study in the civil department, in which male to female ratio is 5:4. In the biotechnological department, 77 male students are studying and number of female students in this department is 5 by 7th the number of males. Now, just by looking at this paragraph, you are now able to comprehend that these are a given set of facts and circumstances. And there are various mathematical operations that are coming into picture. Can you name a few? Obviously, the first mathematical calculation or operation that is coming into picture is percentage. The second is ratio. So 18% students study in the civil department. This question somehow relates to percentage. The male to female ratio is 5:4. This question somehow relates to ratio. All right. In the next line, it is given that in the biotechnological department, 77 male students are studying and the number of female students in this department is 5 by 7th of the number of males. So now the concept of fraction also somehow dwells in the question. The total number of male students in the civil department is equal to the number of female students in the mechanical department. The number of male students in the biotechnology department is half the number of total male students in the computer science department. In the electrical department, the male to female ratio is 14:90. Now, on the basis of these facts and circumstances, 4 to 5 things are very clear to us. That first you need to understand what the facts are. If you are not able to comprehend as to what the facts are, you're supposed to try to draw out a tabular form or some bar graph of something of your own, so as to understand your own, so as to develop your own understanding. And then you need to understand as to what mathematical operations do you need to apply so as to come to a result. We'll read the first question first. The number of male students in electrical department is how much more than female students in mechanical? So now you understand that there are certain set of mathematical operations and formulas that you need to apply to this given facts and circumstances of the case so as to come to a quick conclusion. So what all becomes important for you? Again, the concepts of ratio, percentage, fractions, all of this become important to you. You understand the facts logically, you apply these mathematical operations, and then you conclude by giving in an answer. The second form in which they can ask you a question is in the form of bar graphs. A bar chart or a bar graph is a chart or a graph that presents categorical data with rectangular bars with heights or lengths proportional to the value that they represent. The bars can be plotted vertically or horizontally. This is a vertical representation. It can also be plotted horizontally. So all of you know the bar graph consists of two axes, that is x-axis and y-axis. On the x-axis, what is plotted is the marks obtained, and the y-axis plots here the number of students. So for example, they can ask you, how many number of students have scored 6 marks? What is the difference of percentage of students who have scored 6 marks in comparison to that of let's say 10 marks? So these types of questions can be asked. Again, the questions in the nature of percentages or ratio can be somehow inferred in this and somehow can be found in this. The third form in which the questions can be asked are tabulation. Now, tabular data is a data that is structured into rows, each of which contains information about something. Each row contains the same number of cells, although some of these cells may be empty, which provide values of properties of the thing described by the row. In tabular data, cells within the same column provide values for the same property of the things described by each row. Here we can see that there are two tables that have been formulated. The first is the table of weights and the second is the table of the number of students that have that weight. So for example, a very simple question can be asked from you in relation to the fact that what is the average weight of the class. You would be asked to calculate what is the average weight of the students of the class. So such types of question can be logically formulated again on the basis of ratio, percentages, and different concepts like integers, and you are now supposed to come out to a conclusion. The next format is that of line graph. A line graph is a graphical display of information that changes continuously over a specific interval. Most of the time that interval denotes time. So over a specific time, the thing can change in any manner. So for example, I've given you an example here of how many muffins were sold in a given week. So starting from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this line graph denotes that how many muffins, the number of muffins has been plotted in the y-axis. How many number of muffins were sold throughout the week. Now you can be asked many other questions like ratio, percentages from this also. So what is the, how many percentage of muffins, how many less percentage of muffins was sold in Wednesday as compared to Sunday? This can be one of the questions that is asked to you. All right. The next form in which they can ask a question is pie charts. Now I have given a very simple pie chart here. A pie chart or a circle chart is a circular statistical graphic which is divided into slices to illustrate the numerical proportion. Now this is a pie chart in relation to methods of traveling to school. So it is very simple. 8 people walk to school, 9 people go by car, 4 people go by bus, 5 people go by cycle, 8 people go by, 1 people go by train, 1 person go by train, the yellow which denotes the taxi, so 3 people go by taxi. So you can be asked as to how many times more do people prefer walking over going to the school from cycle. All right, so this is a question of simple arithmetic calculation. Questions of ratio, questions of percentages can again be imbibed in that. So what remains basically constant in all these forms is that these form would give you the broader outline, and on the basis of that, similar to an English comprehension, and on the basis of that English comprehension or the broader outline that you'll be getting, you'll be given 4 to 5 different questions which you have to answer. The sixth form in which they can ask you the question is a combination of any of those. So questions can be asked which are based on a combination of bar graphs, pie charts, line graphs, caselets, tabular data, etc. So they can be a combination of, so for example, the first picture shows a combination of a pie chart and a bar graph that is now horizontally plotted. The earlier bar graph that we saw was vertically plotted. It is in relation to the sales of spices. In relation to the sales of spices, these two types of pictorial representation is given to you, and you will be asked a lot many questions on the basis of this. So this is a cross of two types of pictorial representation, a cross of pie charts along with bar charts. Now, the second example is basically 4 types of bar graphs plotted together. This is a combination of 4 types of bar graphs plotted together. Again, such types of question can also be asked from you. The whole funda remains very simple, that you need to understand that this is just a paragraph, just a form of depiction of the data that is there. You need to understand it logically. You need to understand as to basic concepts. So from next example, we'll try to, next session, we'll try to understand as to how ratios work, how percentages work. Once you grasp the concept of all that, you'll be able to apply these concepts in the given facts and come out with a logical answer, come out with an answer which is somehow given in one of the 4 options. All right. So what becomes now important for you is the fact that you need to study for this QT. Earlier candidates do not used to lay a lot of importance to QT, but now this is a golden chance. Given the fact that you almost have a day off every day, this is a golden chance for almost each and every one of you to score very good in QT. So QT, the syllabus this time has been reduced, and this is somehow that is beneficial to you students. So 5 to 6 types of combination of data, pictorial representation, clubbed with 5 to 6 type of different mathematical operations. That's the whole course of QT. If you analyze it completely, that's the whole course of QT, and that is achievable within a short time period of 10 to 12 days. I would like to thank you all for listening to the video. It was indeed a pleasure delivering this video, and from the next class onwards, we'll start understanding as to what these different concepts are. Thank you.